Mogę вставить. Если вы позволяете, я буду на английском продолжать, и чтобы более понятнее для всех. First of all, I'd like to thank the Caspian Energy Forum for inviting us again this year to discuss potentials of developing the regional perspective of business. I remember last year when I addressed the audience, I said actually governments have a regulatory role, and we are here to support, and maybe to do that we should not get in the way of the business which is already developing its capacity, its transactions together. Of course, the most important duty of the government is to provide the environment, the business environment. And that business environment is defined as security, stability, and predictability. And the predictability includes the rule of law, includes dispute resolution, includes decisions that are taken regarding the economy and trade and the activities related, with the participation of the business itself. So in that respect, I think this region has covered a lot of ground. We are looking at the 26th year of nation and state building, not only in Georgia, but also in Azerbaijan. That transformation, which we were witnessing, all of us in this room, and I'm seeing that I think many of us can say comfortably that we were witnessing, although they're very young ones as well, but we did witness. And that transformation not only happened in Georgia or in Azerbaijan, but also it happened in Turkey. 1990s was also the reform years. I always remind people that during the Cold War, Turkey, like Georgia and Azerbaijan, had one TV channel, which was government-owned. We did not have a consumption economy. We had to choose between two brands, maybe three. If you were lucky, you would not be waiting in queues sometimes for different. And if you wanted to have import materials like this niche things, say the track shoes like Nike, Adidas, and all that, you know where we got them? We got them from the smugglers, who would be bringing them from different locations, and sometimes from the Bekaa Valley in Syria, in Lebanon. So many of our collective memories, though we were living in separate sides of the Cold War walls, are collective. Now, this transformation in this 26 years that we all went through, it is incomprehensible to some. And of course, it did not happen by itself. It happened because of that strategic vision of cooperation, to share the burden and to profit collectively and mutually. Reciprocity is the key, which means we cannot get richer and happier if our neighbor is not. We cannot be in full security if our neighbors are not. We cannot guarantee stability if we are not able to tackle the problems of this region ourselves. We have to take responsibility in our countries and in the region collectively together. In this 26 years, as everybody is well aware, we have established with Turkey, Georgia, and Azerbaijan important strategic projects which changed the energy map, not only the region, but maybe the world. Without Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan, without TANAP, the Caspian, the potential for Caspian would not be what it is today. And well, we have Rue Applecargo here, who has lived many of that episodes, and I'm sure when he writes his book, at the end he will have a lot of stories to tell how that happened. But it's a good model that we worked on, and I think we will continue. In fact, we have the bucket of these cars, the transport, railroad transport project, which is now in progress. Also a fruit of that perspective. And when we started these businesses, there were not the idea of China. The business of all this were happening without China becoming the giant in the picture. So I must tell that not all projects are looking at one customer, one market. Diversification of the sources, diversification of the markets are also a common goal. Joint investments, using markets together, potentials. Instead of fruitless and sometimes detrimental competition, rivalry, using collective resources rationally are the way ahead, because the resources will be, as it seems, will be dire. The foreign direct investors are not very brave and bold nowadays. And we see that globally. We are looking at another recession period, which means the private sector, small and medium business, corporate governance, all these issues will be on the agenda, which needs to be discussed together with the businesses. We need to use our human resources and our financial resources very cleverly, very smart. And if we don't, if we waste our human resources, particularly, and if we waste our financial resources on projects which are not well thought, well designed, then this region will not be able to compete with the global rivals. That's a fact. And the governments need to listen to the businesses, and the businesses also need to take into consideration this future. So our enemy, I think, collectively in this region is greed and bad governance and waste. So we need to really prepare ourselves for a more difficult future. Saying that doesn't mean that this is a pessimistic picture. I know that in these meetings we need to give this enthusiasm and this think glasses. But I think everybody in this room are smarter than I am in business. They make money, they are making money, which the government workers actually don't do. We just tell you things and advise you, but when it comes to feeding our children, we use your taxpayers' money. And therefore, I take the liberty of putting this table on this realistic picture here, because I think we need to be honest with each other. Honesty is the best sign of friendship. Now, we have, as Turkey with Georgia, an increasing trade still, despite the economic signs in Turkey had been a little hit by the currency crisis, but our trade increased, which means the Turkish producers are aggressively looking for markets. They want to protect their market share. And Georgia is not the Georgia of 10 years ago. It has a lot of competition. For Turkish business, there is a lot of competition. And frankly speaking, part of it comes from Azerbaijan. We have one nation, two states, but many tradespeople, which is natural. Liberal market demands this. So the European opening, the Asian interest, Georgia is a popular place for business. So the Turkish businesses are now getting the advice from our embassy to be more efficient, more competitive. The same goes for everybody in this room. Don't trust that your distributors will be buying the construction materials from you forever. You have to be more competitive in price and quality. The same goes, but of course, it needs a very fair and very predictable environment. We should not be meeting surprises like from day to night. Investments, Turkish investments in Georgia is now slower than it used to be, but a lot of potential still coming. The investors are now going to be investing more in the energy projects, particularly in renewables and hydroelectric. It is a continued area of interest because we will need energy. We will need electricity to grow. And in the future, we are hoping that Georgia will be also using the energy it produces, and it will produce in a way to balance its energy trade, its gaps in winter, seasonal fluctuations, and we want to be part of that market. We are expecting a combination of $1 billion US in coming 3 years in different projects of investment, further investments in Georgia, and I'm really hoping that it will be happening, and I see no reason why it should not. We have full confidence in the future of Georgia. We have full confidence in our cooperation with Azerbaijan, Georgia in this region, and we have full confidence in the collaboration, cooperation of the private sector together to find the opportunities. And with that happy note, I'd like to say again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address this very distinguished business circle. I'd like to thank the organizers for their efforts to bring these issues on the agenda. And I'd like to thank all the participants for being here, despite I know it was possibly a long night for most of us. But again, I'd like to underline, we have full confidence in Georgia, we have full confidence in Azerbaijan, we have full confidence in our own Turkish economy, and therefore the collective potential of us. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear Ambassador. It is my pleasure to be here today. It's actually the second year already that I'm attending the Caspian Energy Forum, and it's already a sign of a good partnership between this forum and our ministry, because for us it has a particular importance to support these kind of events in Georgia, and also to have a very active communication with the private sector. As it was mentioned about my country, I would like to highlight several points. What is the priorities for the government, what is the priority for the ministry, and why it is so important for us to have you here in this format, and to discuss the issues which we have and which you are also interested in. The priority for the government is to support, of course, the private sector, and the same goes about the Ministry of Environment and Agriculture. We create the services and we create a system inside to be open and to be transparent in order to answer all the questions which comes from the businesses and all the requests which is related to our competencies. And also, at the same time, you know that Georgia has started a huge and important process towards the European integration. And this is the way which we follow and which is the direction for our country and for the government of Georgia, and all the reforms, all the steps which we make in our reality is related towards the European integration. Of course, at the same time, the partnership with our good neighbors, with our partners and strategic partners is very important for us in all directions, starting from the energy sector, going to the agriculture, and many more, especially to the trade-related issues, because you know that we also signed the deep and comprehensive trade agreement with the European Union. So in very concrete and certain areas, we have the free trade opportunities with the European Union, which brings the opportunities for the Georgian businesses and for our partners as well. And for the Ministry of Environment and Agriculture, what is important is the cooperation and partnership with the agricultural sector. We have very good examples with our neighbors, with Turkey, with Azerbaijan in this sector, and of course it's expanding on a daily basis. And we believe that this strategic partnership will bring many more benefits for all our countries, of course. And we have, of course, good experiences which we could share. You also have your own good experiences. And I think that this format is the availability where we could talk in an open manner with each other and share these experiences and also answer the questions which you have. Within actually last 8 years, we had dramatic changes in our agricultural sector. We had a lot of challenges, we had a lot of issues to be resolved and to be addressed to. And around 43% of the Georgian population is employed in agricultural sector, which means that this is a very much priority for the government to develop this sector, and which means that the development of agricultural sector is closely linked to the rural development of the country at the same time. We have a very clear strategy in this sector, and we have identified the areas which we would like to develop, and one of them is of course the wine sector, which is growing rapidly in our country, and a lot of Georgian market, a lot of international markets are already open for this sector. For instance, I will give you the figures that at least last year, in 2018, we've exported 8 million bottles to China market, which is of course a great benefit for our country and for, of course, those who are employed in the wine sector and interested in wine sector as such. And many other figures I could give you in the agricultural sector. Of course, still we face a lot of problems, but what is important is that we have a very concrete programs coming from the government support to support those who would like to develop their businesses in the agriculture. And at the same time, as we are the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, we would like that the businesses who operate in Georgia take into consideration the environmental requirements of the country. And what is important is that we would like to make the decision process very transparent. We are creating electronic permit system which will allow the businesses to see all the processes in an electronic and open manner, and to see in what process and where the permit goes, and what is the attitude of the public institution towards this, and to ask any questions and to receive the answers in a very short and operative manner, which is of course very important, because we would like to have a very comprehensive environmental assessment system in the country and environmental requirements, but at the same time we would like the business to know that we are open and that we follow very concrete rules and regulations, and what kind of expectations you could have from the ministry as such. So there are many more ongoing reforms in the country, which of course at the first time responds the agenda which is coming from the association agreement, and the agenda which we have with our partnership and strategic partners, our neighbors, of course, strategic neighbors. And in this process, I believe that we together could coordinate and cooperate to bring the benefits for all the countries which started a strategic partnership many years ago, and it becomes successful and successful each and every day. I would like to wish you a very successful forum today. Again, I would like to thank the organizers because it already has become a tradition that you come in Georgia, and it again emphasizes the very good partnership between our countries. And we, as the Ministry of Environment and Agriculture, we are ready for this very open dialogue with the private sector, and we have very good examples in this regard. We cooperate a lot, and I wish you the success in this process. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. My speech will be brief regarding the Ministry of Infrastructure. So it's a great honor to represent here my organization. I'm a deputy in the Municipal Development Fund of Georgia. We are like implementing agency. We are financing the projects. We have a huge scope of the projects. The main projects we are financing is the roads, water system, starting with cable cars as well, metro stations. The fund was established in 1997, and our main donors in this year is Asian Development Bank. Next is the World Bank, EIB, and etc. So the budget for the fund in this year is around 500 million lari. We are planning to spend next year 700 million lari. All our tenders is open. All companies are welcome to participate in the tenders. That's it. Thank you.
Госпожа посол, господин первый заместитель председателя, дамы и господа, я приветствую всех. Я в первую очередь хочу поблагодарить Caspian Energy Club за то, что у меня есть возможность выступить перед вами и как-то привилегированно выгляжу перед другими муниципалитетами. Хочу отметить, что наше знакомство и сотрудничество начинается с того периода, когда я являлся вице-губернатором региона Крым-Картли, и мы провели совместно несколько встреч, ланчев, и после того, как я стал мэром, наверное, за то сотрудничество наградили меня, чтобы я сегодня выступил перед вами. Я хочу еще раз поблагодарить. Муниципалитет, Марниульский муниципалитет является одним из самых сильных, развитых и больших муниципалитетов в Грузии. И за последние годы мы наше правительство провело колоссальную работу, чтобы инфраструктурные проблемы, которые существовали в муниципалитете, решились. И на сегодняшний день мы активно продолжаем содействовать, чтобы в селах, в самом муниципалитете, в целом проблемы, которые являются в основном базовыми инфраструктурными, поэтапно решились. Конечно же, в свою очередь, решение инфраструктурных проблем является хорошим знаком для того, чтобы инвесторы вкладывали в наш муниципалитет. В целом, как вы знаете, рост и развитие экономики страны зависит от многих факторов, и важной из них является инвестиции. Я думаю, что формат этого бизнес-форума является очень важным, играет важную роль в развитии бизнеса и укреплении экономических отношений между нашими странами. Я участвовал на многих встречах и в данном формате, и основным моим месседжем будет то, чтобы бизнесмены, которые участвуют на этих форумах, на самом деле заинтересовались местами, и мы планировали, когда я работал в губернии, что вторым этапом данного форума будет такая небольшая поездка по региону, чтобы бизнесмены на местах ознакомились с средой, куда они могут вкладывать. И, конечно же, мы будем очень рады, если бизнесмены в данном формате приедут в Марниули, ознакомятся с средой. У нас большой потенциал для развития бизнеса в разных направлениях, и мы всячески будем содействовать всем, чтобы вкладывали в Марниули. И за последние годы в разных сферах, это в основном сельское хозяйство, промышленность, уже есть инвестиции в развитие. Завод Марниули, томатный завод, уже является брендом, можно сказать, по всему миру. И я думаю, что в основном даже посол Турции подтверждает, что одним из самых качественных продукций в Грузии, и мы выходим уже на рынок Америки, Европы, Китая и так далее. Я хочу поблагодарить также Фонд муниципального развития, очень активно поддерживает развитие инфраструктуры. В этом году мы только строим 7 школ в Марниуле. И также я хочу поблагодарить компанию Сокар, которая за последние годы практически решил вопрос газифицирования населения в Марниуле и является также очень хорошим партнером нашего государства и помогает всячески содействовать развитию Грузии. В целом, Марниули в основном инвестиции, как я отметил, идут в сельское хозяйство, промышленность. Турецкие компании начали активно вкладываться. У нас есть парниковый бизнес на Зачетиле, который очень высокими темпами сейчас развивается и уже вышел за рамки грузинского рынка. Есть мукоперерабатывающая компания «Кармен», которая является азербайджанской компанией и одним из самых больших в Грузии. И все эти бизнесы находятся в Марниуле, и это хороший знак, что в Марниуле можно развивать разные направления. И я приглашаю, как мэр Марниульского муниципалитета, приглашаю всех бизнесменов, чтобы они на местах ознакомились со средой, существующей средой. Мы также можем предоставить конкретные проекты для инвестирования и совместно работать. Большое спасибо.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me. This is a very interesting forum, and I will use the opportunity and provide a brief macroeconomic overview of our investment climate. You know that the recent period was not a very good period for the region. There was some regional shocks, several, and slowdowns in the region, but regardless that, Georgia maintained a high and persistent growth rate. Especially 2018, there was several shocks in Turkey and Russia, but regardless that, Georgian economy grew by 8.7%, and growth is continuing in 2019. And we rely on the forecast of International Monetary Fund, average growth rate in the medium term is 5.1%, and Georgia is leader in the region with high international growth rate. I have to underline, if you look at the present report of international organizations and rating institutions, all of them underlies that Georgia is increasing and growing not only quantitatively but qualitatively, and the resilience of the economy is improving. Georgia maintains low and stable level of inflation core inflation, which is the red line, it is very stable and low, and it is a target level. You know that this year there was some one-off effect on the inflation because there was some increase in tobacco excise tax, and if we remove from the inflation this tobacco effect for inflation is target level and stability of this condition. Starting from the second half of the previous year, external trade is improving very fast. This year, in January, in the first 4 months, we have 3.5% real growth in export, and import is growing at 0 rate. And it is quite a good improvement of our external balance, because you know that one of the biggest challenge of our economy is the negative current account balance and external imbalance. But if you look at the recent trends, current account balance is improving sharply. This is the dynamic of the current account, and after 2016, when the current account balance was 13% of GDP, it almost halved, and in 2018 it was 7.7%. If we consider the high frequency data of the first 5 months, export is growing, import is reducing, tourism and remittances. This is about 2.88% improvement of annual current account balance. 2.8% improvement, and I think this is a quite a big achievement. If you look at the dynamic of the total investment is increasing, and current account deficit is decreasing. This improvement of current account deficit is because of the increasing domestic savings, which is, I think, a good achievement. In the past decade, we doubled the savings to GDP ratio. And this is dependence on other countries, and I want to underline that Georgia has quite a diversified current account revenues, and there's some shocks in Russia and Turkey. Georgia has mostly shown quite diversified its trade and as a revenues and current account. And I think it is very important that Georgia historically was depending on the remittances, and the share of the remittances in the financial current account is decreasing, and Georgia became less and less dependent on the remittances. This is our fiscal framework. You know that government of Georgia initiated education reform, which requires quite a big amount of budget expenditure, investment in human capital. But regardless, that Georgia remains committed to its recently refined fiscal rules, and its deficit remains in the ceiling, and continuing the declining trajectory after 2022. Also, government saving is increasing, and Georgia remains committed to the small government concept, and current spending remains at the low level. You know that we have a successful program with International Monetary Fund, and I think this fiscal framework framework shows this government's commitment to the macroeconomic and fiscal stability. The level is at a very comfortable level. Of course, there is some variability because the dollarization of public debt is too high, but if you consider that most of this external debt the common financing with less than 1% interest rate. I think the market value is government is much lower, and this is our Eurobond interest rate and US Treasury bonds interest rate. And this spread is decreasing now over time, and it means that the risk premium is decreasing in Georgia. These are ratings. We are gradually improving our credit rating. Now we have ED and BA2 according to the future of this rating, and minus positive by this rating. If you look at the recent Fitch ratings report, they underline that improvement of our upgrading of our credit rating is mainly because of this improvement of European economic resilience and improvement of the current account balance. And the government has a clear view how to improve further its credit rating. Have a strategy how to reach the investment rate in the medium term, 5 years. This is important slide. It shows the efficiency of our government and our officials. If we rely on the business report, Georgia is number 3 lowest tax budget country in the world after the May one. These two are small countries, and this is not comparable to our economy. And we see Canada is the lowest tax budget in the world. Regardless that we have the lower tax, one of the lowest tax budget in the world, moderate tax revenues, and the government effectiveness is very high. This is the World Bank's governance indicators, which is 6 pillars: accountability, control of corruption, political stability, rule of law, government effectiveness, and regulatory quality. This blue line shows the Eastern European countries, EU members, and potential candidates. This green line is EU members median, and you can say that Georgia's red line is Eastern Europeans and EU member countries, and in almost all the directions. If we consider this cost of on the bureaucracy, this compensation of employees, Georgia has one of the lowest cost. Government is very effective, but the cost of it is one of the lowest in the world. This is the rank between top 15 most transparent countries in the open budget index, and 100 lowest corruption perception index countries. As you look at the other international rankings, Georgia is number 5 in the index of economic freedom, number 5 in the open budget index, number 6 doing business, and number 46 in corporate rights. This is the most recent report of global finance, and according to that article, Georgia is considered as one of the most interesting destination of investments because of the high growth rate and very investment-friendly environment. Government of Georgia remains committed to their reform agenda, and government's view is that economic reforms is the shortest way how to understand the global economy and economic activities. We have several pillars of reform, economic reforms, it so that saving rate in Georgia's increased here. After the 2016, it is improved by 6%. Before the 2016, it was on average 19-20%, and now it's 25.6%. And it is mostly related to our capital income taxation reform. And if we consider our pension reform, we expect about the same level of saving and improvement in the current account deficit. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to thank all the organizers of the Caspian Energy Forum this year as well. We are proud to be sponsoring the industry. We wish this partnership between the countries continue for the foreseeable future. I'm happy to take place right after the Ministry of Finance speaker, so that I can also more elaborate on the developments in the banking sector in Georgia. Pasha Bank Georgia is part of a big family of Pasha Holding, which is Azerbaijan Baku-based holding company with investments in banking, insurance, construction, hotel, and several other businesses. And we've been in Georgia for the last 6 years. And while I was in this event last year, I was telling you that the company would hit the gas and start growing in the country. Last year, our credit portfolio, while I was speaking, was around 100 million laris. Today, I can proudly say that we are almost at 250 million laris. So thinking that we grew 2.5 times within a year is a very good signal for us. We are originally a corporate bank, meaning we are concentrating on large corporates in Georgia, but starting last year, at the end of last year, we also got into the small medium enterprises, and this is one of the reasons we grew our portfolio. You can see the opening of our new branch in Moxie Marriott, right across from Dry Bridge. That happened several months ago. This is only the one segment that we entered last year. So on top of corporate, we added the commercial segment. We're also going to be entering the retail banking segment. Don't be surprised if you see a new brand in the banking sector starting next month. I do not want to give you the name of the bank, but it will be a bank under Pasha Bank with a sub-brand. So we will not call it Pasha Bank, but it will be our bank with a different name. Our target will be bringing transparency to the Georgian consumers. We believe there is a lot of untransparent and hidden fees in the Georgian banking sector for the retail customers. We're going to come out as the most transparent retail bank in Georgia, and we're going to probably see us advertising a lot in the coming months. As I said, we are almost 250 million laris now. We plan to end the year with over 300 million. And next year during this event, hopefully I'll be telling you, we surpass 400 million laris in portfolio. We are confident in the economy. I mean, as I said, right after the Ministry of Finance presentation, I can reconfirm that Georgia is a stable economy. We trust in the country. We trust in the National Bank of Georgia in putting in the right brakes when needed into the economy and lifting them up whenever they see that the economy has cooled off to the right level. We believe there is a very good responsible management on both sides. So we're very happy with the governmental support for the banking sector. Also, we try to be very corporate and socially responsible bank. You'll see us being active in all the environmental places where we need to be. And in our new retail bank, we want to, while I was going through the processes, you cannot imagine how much paper is wasted in terms of signatures, authorities, etc., to get one loan agreement. Hopefully, digital signatures will become more part of the system going forward, so that we do not create a mess for the environment. Also, this growth didn't come. We always try to help the Georgian economy. As I say, one of my previous and prior statement was, I want to bring everything that we have, all the lenders we have, we want to make them Georgians as much as we can. And we launched a new internet bank like 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, and the provider was a foreign provider. We basically started using a domestic provider just to help developers in the Georgian market. Also, last year we were 75 employees. Today we are over 250 employees. So we've created a significant amount of jobs. I think we were probably the highest employing company last year in the market. We do not plan to increase our headcount that much going into retail banking. We already hired the staff, so we'll probably stop around 300 people in terms of employee count. You will see us, as I said, more in the retail banking in the coming months. You will also see us probably more on the digital side. We want to, Georgia, as I said, is a superb banking system and very strong two players. We do not intend on getting significant market share from them. Even if we could get a couple of percentage points in market share, it would be enough for us to sustain our business in Georgia. So once again, I'd like to thank the organizers, all the participants to the event, and we're here to support business. I mean, before I couldn't say that to smaller enterprises, but today I can say that due to our small medium enterprises business, we're here to support smaller hotels, which is a fantastic growth segment for us. Also agro loans, which is also a very good segment for us, thanks to the subsidies that the investors get from the Minister of Agriculture and Environment. Once again, thank you very much, and hope to see you around. Thank you.
Я чрезвычайно впечатлен выступлением уважаемой госпожи посла Фатмахана. Она за всего лишь 5-6 минут дала нам мощнейшую информацию о том, как должна быть поставлена система и взаимосвязь между государственными органами и бизнесом. И я думаю, что за информацию, которую мы услышали за эти 5-6 минут, можно было бы успешно ею в течение года преподавать в любой бизнес-школе мира. Я серьезно говорю это. В своей речи Фатима Ханум указала, что для того, чтобы в стране были созданы правильные условия для работы бизнеса, она указала несколько основных моментов. Это stability and predictability. Полностью согласен, полностью поддерживаю. Есть еще один очень важный момент, и я бы хотел в своей речи указать именно, сделать ставку на этот очень важный фактор в функционировании бизнеса в стране. Я думаю, что общим языком для всех нас здесь будет и удобным языком для всех нас будет английский. Я поэтому хочу продолжить свою речь на английском языке. Dear ladies and gentlemen, members of the club, guests and speakers of International Caspian Energy Forum Tbilisi, a very good and positive afternoon to all of you. It's really honor and a great pleasure for me to be here with you. And using the chance, first of all, I would like to express my deep thanks to the Caspian Energy Club, personally to Mr. Telman Aliyev and his young and dynamic team for the organization of this event at this level. If I were to state my today's speech only in one sentence, I would say that in modern business world, there is only one thing that's unchangeable, the change itself. My name is Fahri Agaev and I am an expert of UNEC Research Foundation. Our foundation was established by Azerbaijan State University of Economics UNEC with the purpose of bringing together scientists and specialists for making research in different fields, issues and topics within the circle of interests of government, companies and institutes. Our foundation, UNEC Research Foundation, seeks to attract best specialists in their fields, and in this we are not limited only to Azerbaijan. If there are people willing to cooperate with our foundation in this hall, they can refer to our webpage or communicate directly with me during a break. I want to draw your attention to the economy and business of Azerbaijan within the context of global economy and business. We all witness dynamic and rapid changes in almost all fields of the business world today, and accordingly, there is a strong need for the quick reactions and responses to all of these changes. Over the years of its independence, Azerbaijan was able to build an economic system which ensures sustainable development. Now we are experiencing a post-oil period and all our attention and energy are paid to development of non-primary industries and directions as tourism, agriculture and manufacturing. We quickly learned to use our huge human capital as well as natural and geographical potential. For the growth of the business within the country, access to financial markets and attraction of international companies and investors, there is a very important word which comes in front of us. The third factor that I would like to add to speech of Ms. Fatima is transparency. During past few years, serious changes have been initiated in Azerbaijan and major reforms were carried out with the increasing speed in areas as tax and customs policies as well as legislation, thus creating a foundation of the new economic model. These successes of Azerbaijan were reflected in the World Bank's Doing Business report distributed in the October 2018. In this report, our country was included in the list of top 10 performer countries that we were able to carry out the greatest number of institutional and economic transformations and reforms during that year. We were able to move up by 32 steps from the 57th place to 25th among 190 countries, and at the same time we rose to the leader among CIS countries in changes. Strengthening non-oil sector requires Azerbaijani businesses and companies to concentrate and focus not only on sales markets and activities, but also increases the demand for innovations and investments. We need partners who will help us to implement corporate governance standards and support us with the entrance to the access to financial markets. We clearly understand and strongly believe that it's impossible to achieve success in modern business world without the implementation of the principles of corporate governance, the most important of which is the principle of transparency. Is it possible to state that the communication and symbiosis between our two countries will continue? I'm sure yes, and I believe that in the near future we will be witnessing very large international projects between our countries. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear business people, and excuse us for making you wait for us. Well, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to organizers of such a great event. It's our great pleasure to meet you all this honorable event. As the head of State Agro-Trade Company and board member of Food Products Procurement and Supply Company under the Ministry of Agriculture of Azerbaijan, I will give you information about our operations and projects. But before presenting our companies, I would like to share some interesting facts about agriculture in Azerbaijan. The diversity of soil and favorable natural conditions allow us to produce a wide range of fruits and vegetables as well as technical crops in Azerbaijan. Therefore, in 2018, Azerbaijan has exported vegetables and fruits valued at $560 million in total, according to Azerbaijan State's Customs Committee. In last decade, agricultural production in real terms increased by 2.4 times. We are the third country in the world by hazelnut production. Azerbaijan exported $178 million worth tomato in 2018. The second most exported non-oil product is persimmon with the export revenue of $110 million. Export volume of the cotton has increased 144% last year. Azerbaijan is one of the few exporters of pomegranate products in the world. And also, Azerbaijan is one of the top 10 producers of saffron, which is known to be quite valuable and rare product. Apart from this fact, Azerbaijan is also one of the leading countries for support mechanisms to agriculture. The sector is exempted from all kinds of taxes. Additionally, the government subsidizes 60% cost of breeding animals and 40% of agricultural machinery, complemented with interest-free lending for the period of 5 years. Now I would like also share some information about operations and projects of both companies. As the food products procurement and supply company, we mainly work with medium and large farmers and food producers. We purchase products of our producers to supply more than 800 companies in public and private sectors, such as National Army, kindergartens, hospitals, etc. On the other hand, as the State Agro-Trade Company, we mainly work with small and medium farmers and food producers. We empower and help them to sell their products through B2C and B2B channels in and outside of Azerbaijan. Additionally, our aim is to support the development of agro ecosystem of the country, and we also provide our national population with health, with highly quality healthy agricultural and food products. And also we work on various projects. One of the main and biggest projects of the State Agro-Trade Company is Kentten Shahara, which means from village to city. In this project, we mainly work with small and medium farmers. We help them to develop, to market, package, and logistic, and finally to sell products, mainly through newly created sales channels such as Kentten Shahara stores, fairs, and e-commerce platforms. Additionally, we work with local agri-trade and supermarket chains, and we help our farmers to distribute packaged Kentten Shahara branded products in local market. In contrast to Kentten Caspian, and now we also cooperate with the State Tourism Agency and with the Ministry of Ecology and Natural Resources of the Republic of Azerbaijan. We work on agro-ecotourism project from city to village. And we aim to create alternative income sources for rural people who are engaged in agricultural activities by creating a community and a special platforms through which they can learn how to provide accommodation and run their agro-tourism businesses. Shortly, our aim is to increase new generation of agro-entrepreneurs in this sector as well. And ensuring gender equality in the field of agriculture is one of the main focuses of our ministry. Therefore, we have initiated the Azerbaijani Women in Agriculture project with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And in this project, we aim to improve the access to information, resources, and markets, and create new employment opportunities for women in agriculture field by providing them with training programs as well as with needed equipments. Our aim is to increase the number of successful agro-entrepreneurs women in this sector. To conclude, I would like also to mention some strengths of our companies. Plus professional team and agility in decision-making, partnership with international organizations, and strong bond with governmental organizations. Local centers in 33 cities across the country. Highly developed warehousing and logistics system. Ability to provide branding and packaging services for our farmers and small food producers. Opportunity to cooperate with state agro-development centers in 66 regions, having a wide network of farmers and food manufacturers, having a wide supply network, and this is our coverage map. And at the end of my speech, I would like to note that if you are interested in investment in agriculture in Azerbaijan, import agricultural and food products from Azerbaijan, or just to be our partner in various social and agricultural projects, you can contact us. Thank you for your attention, and I do hope that this event can be a good start for many fruitful cooperation between entrepreneurs of Azerbaijan and Georgia. Thank you. Didi Madlova.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Caspian Energy Forum organizers and I wish them all the best. Today I would like to introduce you our company. Baku Textile Company was established in Baku in 1939, and it became today's position from the 2011. And our company is one of the biggest producers in Azerbaijan on the way of to meet the demands of population on the socks, underwears, and the work uniforms and the school uniforms as well. The company right now we're trying to diversify our production. Our annual production on the socks is about 8 million pairs, which is the supplying of the 8% of the Azerbaijan socks demands. We can produce them, and about the underwears and the others about 10 million, and the work uniforms and the school uniforms is about the 1,500,000 units per year. What our company is doing right now, we're trying to contribute with the universities to bring the students to our factory, to teach them, to make the Azerbaijan textile industry much more interesting and much more valuable. Today we're not just only making the uniforms, or we're not just only serving we're not sewing just on the uniforms for the customers. We're bringing the solution to their problems, and we hope in the future, because we made our R&D team who's responsible for the new products and who's doing their best to bring the new products on for our customers. costs or the expenses, and we hope that that will be we will be really good on this. Really thanks for everyone for listening to me. Thanks a lot.